Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today we are going to talk about whether you should summon for JIREN or save for the future. Obviously, I say this a lot when I do these summon or skip videos, but these are more so aimed at people who are maybe free to play or who only spend a little bit of money, because obviously if you're a whale or somebody who spends a little bit pretty much every time a banner comes around, obviously this is going to be slightly different for you. Maybe you always do a few multis on every banner, or if you are a whale, you know, maybe you just want to go in until you always get at least one copy of the new card. So this is not necessarily aimed at you, but I'd be interested to hear your opinion. So we're not only going to be looking at JIREN and his banner, but some stuff that comes up in the future as well. So I did talk about his kit yesterday in the announcement video that he was coming to Global. Whilst I did meme around in that video a little bit, like as much as I personally don't care too much about this card, it's very hard to argue that he's not one of the most powerful units in the game. I think in terms of just raw like power and what he can get done on your teams, like especially from turn 1, he's easily in the top 5 best units in the game. So if you are going to summon for him and you do manage to pull him, he is incredibly powerful. So there's a couple of things to look at overall though. So he is the Universe 11 category leader, as well as having a Universe Survival Saga secondary leader skill. So him being added to the game and all the other story stuff that comes out adds the Universe 11 category into the game. So there's the Int Topo, who will be one of the new units that appears on his banner, and then obviously everybody else. As you can see, kind of like reps of Universe 7 or Namekians, this category is very, very small. In fact, I think at the time of launch for, especially at least for Global, although I don't think any units are actually out that aren't on JP as well, but I think this is like the smallest category in the game. Because technically if you ran JIREN as the leader, you've then got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TURs. So that would be your full team, is basically every single unit on the team. So this Int Topo is really, really good. He's mainly designed to be on a Universe 11 team because that's where he gets the biggest buff. Even without a full Universe 11 team, he needs 3 or more allies, so that does include both of the leaders as well. So you only need to have one other Universe 11 unit. A lot of people obviously have been waiting for the Easy A for Topo because he's a really, really good support unit. So technically you would only need your JIREN leaders and the Topo support, and then this guy would be really, really good. And of course he is a support unit for Universe 11 as well. So one thing that is actually really good to note is if you really want to run this team, you want to try out the new LR JIREN, you want to maybe use like Universe 11 on the Universe Survival Saga stage of Super Battle Road or something like that. One thing to bear in mind is that the STR JIREN, who's been in the game for a very long time, I imagine a lot of people will have at least one copy of this guy by now. His leader skill is Universe Survival Saga 150% to all stats. And obviously all of these units are in Universe Survival Saga. So even if you don't summon for the new JIREN, or if you do a few multis and maybe you don't get them, you can use this STR JIREN as your leader, bring an LR JIREN friend, and still basically make a full Universe 11 team. And then if you are missing 1 or 2 units, the fact that the STR JIREN has as his lead and the Tech one has as his sub lead, you could just throw in another random like Universe Survival Saga unit, maybe somebody like the MVP 17 for his support and the attack lowering, or even as like a free-to-play option, there's the Int Super Saiyan Kale, who is a Universe Survival Saga support unit. So it's very easy to actually be able to run this guy's team and just grab a friend, even if you don't have him. So that's one of the big advantages. Like even if you don't want to summon for him at all, it's very possible to be able to run this team. Obviously if you don't touch his banner at all, you're not going to be able to get the Int Topo, but he will be added into all banners moving forward after this one has gone. So he will obviously be a unit that you could pull in the future. So having a look at his banner, unfortunately, of course, it is a typical legendary summon banner in that it's not particularly great. It does have a couple of good units though. STR Whis is obviously still really good. Skinny Boo after his awakening is super good, especially for like Super Battle Road. The new Topo is good, as we discussed. Ribrienne is actually good. Obviously, she's still the best like Peppy Gal's leader, but she's really solid on her own as a unit, especially on a full Peppy Gal's team. And of course, bear in mind, once Extreme Category Super Battle Road finally comes to Global, which should be the next thing to come on the schedule, no idea how long we'll have to wait, But there is an extreme version of the Peppy Gal stage, so obviously having more dupes in her wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then this is the Nuka Goku, who is really good as well. So there are actually a couple of decent featured units on here. But then, of course, the big thing to remember is that it is a legendary banner. So you've got all these featured units. This guy is who you want, but, you know, the chances of pulling him, you're going to get potentially a lot of multis where you're seeing, like, guaranteed featured animations. And then you get, like, Champa or Frost, which would be very disappointing. But then, of course, like every LR banner, it is going to have all the other LRs in it as well. This is the JP version, because obviously the global one isn't out yet. But so the list isn't necessarily up to date in terms of these units. But obviously it will have every single LR that's currently available, as well as the banner units as well. Obviously bearing in mind not Dokkan Fest exclusive, so not like the blue Goku of Vegeta. So yeah, obviously, for some people, it's always worth, like, a couple of multis if you can spare the stones, because you never know. Even if you don't pull Jiren, you might pull an LR. But I think a lot of people tapped out their stones with, like, the Gohan double rates banner and then the step up. And then, obviously, Frieza came out. A lot of people got their refunds from the step ups and then just summoned for Frieza. So this banner is not great just because it is a legendary summon banner. But it does at least have some decent featured units. So why wouldn't you summon, other than, you know, being free to play and don't want to risk a legendary summon banner? Well, we've got to look at what's coming up in the future. So whilst the schedule can always change, because that's just the way global goes, the next Dokkan Fest should be this man right here, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, despite the controversy of the 5-9 Gaming tier list that went up a couple of days back for the Dokkan Fest exclusive TURs, most people were in agreement for that list that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is number 1, and if not number 1, number 2. And in the overall final rankings, when they put together like everyone's lists, he was number 1. I think when Truth did his video looking over the tier list, he agreed that Gogeta should be number 1. So, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, potentially the best Dokkan Fest exclusive TUR in the game. A lot of people are really excited for him thanks to the Heroes banner being a dual JP and global release. A lot of people pulled all the new Super Saiyan 4s. And whilst that technically introduced the Giant 8 power category to global, we didn't get a proper leader outside of the Super Saiyan 4 Broly, who only has, was it like 130% leader skill? So a lot of people, myself included, are really looking forward to this guy coming out so that they can run the full Super Saiyan 4 team. So this guy is really, really good. Obviously one of the best TUR units in the game. So he is very close around the corner. I imagine after the Jiren banner comes out, unless they fit something else in between, we're probably only looking at 2 to 3 weeks until this guy comes out. Now, the downside for him, considering he's such a great unit, is if we have a look at his banner. Now, potentially this could change because Kefla was added onto Frieza's banner, but his banner is not great. The new Nova is okay, but there's not a huge amount of teams that you'd want to run him on. Piccolo is good, but no one really runs him or his team. Full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku is super outdated, same with the Omega Shenron. Now, the Gobros being on here, for some people will be good, because, you know, any extra chance to get like a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR is still pretty good for some people. They're still a very, very good unit in the meta at the moment. But obviously they've been around for quite a while now, so some people, myself included, don't need to pull any extra copies of them. And like I said, Kefla would be a good unit to be on the banner still. I think this was the first time she came back on JP, but obviously that has changed for global and she's been back fairly recently, so I could see her being changed for someone else. And then of course we have Gogeta himself. So his banner is not particularly great. Because it is a normal Dokkan Fest banner though, just like we had with the Frieza this time around, we could potentially see some kind of tickets or something with the Pilaf Trove. So there could be a way around maybe getting a summon or two on this banner without having to use stones, but obviously that remains to be seen until the banner comes out. And then of course after Gogeta we have the Dokkan Fest Bojack. Again, he's super high on people's list for top Dokkan Fest exclusive TURs. He does the same sort of thing as Cooler. Everyone was joking about it when he came out that he's very much like a copy of Cooler, but that's one of the things that can make him really good, because Space Traveling Warriors is a really, really good category. It features two of the best units in the game, the LR Jiren that we've already talked about, and LR Turles when he eventually comes out. And Bojack can function like Cooler, where you can just put him as a 3rd slot floating unit, and then he provides a support buff to that team. 2 key and attack and defense 30%, which is obviously a very solid support buff. And because his transformation, just like Cooler, is active skill based, you can choose to just never transform him and run him as a support unit. Because obviously once he transforms, just like Cooler, he becomes all about attack and no longer supports the rest of his team. So it's one of the reasons why people like Cooler so much, is you have so many options when it comes to building his team, and Bojack can be very, very good for that. And when we have a look at his banner was looking pretty good. Obviously Tech Gohan is an insanely good unit and has never returned yet on Global, so this would probably be his first return. The Zangya that came out alongside Bojack is pretty good as long as you're running her on the Bojack team. And then a lot of these sub-units, while people don't consider them to be like ultra top tier, are really good. Like Bardock is really good. 13 is really good, even though he gets underrated all the time, probably just because he's Android 13. And then the Int Future Gohan is really, really good as well. And to be honest, the physical one, whilst he's probably lower on the tier list for Dokkan Fest category leaders, he is still very good. Like in longer form events, he can get very high defense. And obviously he fits well on the teams where you can use him. So overall, I would say Bojack's banner is probably slightly better than Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but then it's no real contest that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is better than Bojack. So that's kind of the balance that you have to strike there as to how you want to do that. So I do think overall, especially now that we've looked at all 3 banners, it's probably not going to come as much of a surprise considering what I said at the very beginning. But if you're somebody who is free to play or who only spends a little bit on the game, it's probably not worth summoning on JIREN's banner. Maybe drop like 1 or 2 multis just to see what happens, because, you know, everybody's got them stories about the first multi luck, but I would say don't go into your 1 multi expecting to pull him, but you never know. So maybe 1 multi, because the fact that it comes with an easy A is the fact we are going to get 30 extra stones for doing the Dispo and Topo easy A. So maybe you could throw a multi at this banner and then go back to saving. But I would definitely recommend saving for either Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or Bojack, depending on your preference. I know a lot of people are really hyped for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and it's kind of not surprising. So I do feel like since he's probably going to be the next big banner that comes out, it's probably going to be worth saving for him. So let me know what you guys think down below. Are you going to be summoning for JIREN? After everyone complaining for so long that they wanted JIREN to come to Global, it's going to be really funny when like nobody summons for him and we don't get even close to top grossing, because like I was joking about in the video yesterday and on Twitter and stuff, most people only really wanted him to come out so they could get the content like the Easy A and the story event. But let me know what you guys think down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the link to my Discord in the description. Feel free to join in the fun over there, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.